Namaste YouTube, welcome to Cafe Noma and welcome to our reaction to Deep Purple, and the song that we are going to react to is Vincent Price.
Let's get started with our reaction. It's for our patron Marco. You could check out our Patreon page to learn more about us in case you find this reaction interesting. The link is in the description box below. This is going to be a single take review, like Kirti said, first time single take honest review. It also is going to be pure, raw, authentic, genuine, spontaneous and impromptu. Spontaneous and impromptu means whatever we think of and whatever we feel, we show it through our expressions, as well as try to say it exactly as we thought it or exactly as it came into our mind after the song is over. It's very important to give a realistic, holistic view to the viewer and listener, no matter where he or she comes from on this reaction video. We're very proud of being the only channel on YouTube that does it this way. Spontaneous and impromptu, totally unscripted. Which means we don't do research on the song or the artist or anything else before we start the video. The only thing we have ready is the video. And the link given to us by our patron.
Vincent
So
Price.
if we get it wrong, it's not our fault, because we don't start the reaction till we start the reaction. Let's get started. Wow.
Okay.
Musically, very, very strong. Vocally, very, very strong. I enjoyed listening to it. Lyrically, yeah, quite weak,
Oh.
especially towards the end. Seems to be about some kind of a serial killer, some kind of notorious person, maybe Satan, maybe a version of Satan, an avatar of Satan, but something satanic for sure, something very anti-God for sure, and is going to make a huge sacrifice of seven girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that was kind of upsetting, disturbing towards the end. Most of the song was really good till that point, and definitely when songwriters and musicians mess things up for themselves, obviously they're catering to a specific market, so they know what they're doing in this case. Either ways, for me, people like me, it just turns me off. It was a really good song, but the last line or two kind of ruined it for me, ruined the whole thing for me. What are your thoughts?
It is a horror theme, something demonic, something zombie, as it says. It was enjoyable when it comes to the music. A lot of music, I like the guitar playing, haunting sound of the guitar playing. It was giving all the vibes. And most of it was created on the guitar or either on the organ that started off the song. I like the effect of the organ and the guitar playing. The other bass guitar also was done very, very well. Vocals have to be good for a song like this when you have to play a character, demonic something. So it sounded powerful and in the character. But the attachment to such topics depends on your mood, whether you want to listen to something horror or not. It's not every day, every time music. Halloween time, this is a hit. Not Halloween time, you really have to think about it. Because Halloween time we expect, yeah, people are going to play it, let's find something. For Halloween, this is good. But remainder of the year, are we really looking for horror songs? Not sure. Like that. Yeah.
But we are speaking about this topic in the Thriller reaction video, how this whole industry, this whole business of ghosts, of spirits, of satanic, what do you call
industry?
that? Yeah, demons and devils and satans. It's such a huge industry, it's such a huge business that everyone wants a piece of the action. Even if, almost everyone, not everyone, they want a piece of the action. They may make 10 good songs about different things, but they have to put a song like this on the album, especially in the 70s and 80s. They had to put a song like this on the album because they were scared that they will leave out a large chunk of the market if they don't put a song like this on the album. So as a result, you would find many bands would pretend to be totally into satanic worship, satanic rituals, demonic worship, demonic rituals, and the like. They would just pretend and they would show it on stage too that I'm a firm believer in all this, in all these kind of things, rituals and all that, just because they had to enter that large market in 70s and 80s, and that market may have grown, but then these guys weren't around that much by then, and the new people, they realize that the world has far bigger problems and far better things to talk about, so let's make music on all that. As a result, you had so much diversification since the 90s. One thing that definitely was much stronger in the 90s and even the start of this century was lyrics. And I'm talking about it in cross genre. Whether it's country music, whether it's pop music and rock music had their heyday in the 90s. Because they had so many things to talk about. Earlier, songs were only about few topics. Take for example King Diamond, another artist that we react to for the same patron. So songs are only about two topics.
It's full time into it.
3 topics, which is good. It's a niche market. You're addressing a particular topic, particular market's needs, and you're making only to them. Maybe that is your need as well. So it helps meet the divide, it helps meet the fans in the middle. But after the 90s, what happened? maybe the whole world's media opened up. That is, I would attribute that as a major reason for this. The whole world's media opened up. MTV was now in Iran, was now in India, was now in Japan, was now in Taiwan, was now in China, if I'm not mistaken. So they had, or some other version of MTV was in China. But most of the world, including African nations, had access to music from the West, because not much else was played in the 90s from other countries. So you would have bits and pieces or one show every weekend dedicated to a regional language or a national language song. If it was a country such as Hungary or Romania, then maybe just once a week they would have artists from there being featured on a particular show. So that is how it was for most of the 90s. Same in India. As a result, there was huge exposure to music from the West, and the pressure was on the labels, the pressure was on the bands to write music on different topics. But in this era, the ones we listen to off and on and sometimes regularly on our channel, requested by patrons who obviously love this kind of music or are promoting this kind of music only. So definitely there were less options. So even if there's a band like Deep Purple, ultimately you would have to have a song like this. There would have to be a song where they are targeting women, using vulgar language to portray them. There has to be a song like that. Who think that way, and it would be a large market maybe in those days. So and also the satanic market. So to please all those people who were in those markets, every album would have to have one or two songs about these topics.
Have it all.
Unfortunately, we are in 2020 now. Those days are long gone. Unfortunately, the people who listen to this music, they are still alive and they still request those songs. But those days, thankfully, are long gone, where you only had to stick to 2 topics or 3 topics, 4 topics for an album, and you wouldn't keep it relevant to the everyday man, the common man and woman. In fact, women, I don't think they came till much later in the music industry.
Rock.
People really didn't write for them. Even the women were made to write about men.
I know, they were always singing about men.
That's how sad it was, unfortunately. That's it for this one. Goodbye.